Let's talk Tanya for the 5th of Nisan of a leap year. Today we start chapter 40. In yesterday's Tanya, we spoke about the importance of kavanah. We were speaking about that for a while, that when a person does a mitzvah, when a person studies Torah, when a person prays, it should be with the proper motivation. And that is avas Hashem and yiras Hashem, love of Hashem and awe for Hashem. And we said that if a person does not have kavanah, does not have this ahava and yira, the love and the awe, then the mitzvah does not go up to the higher worlds, it does not soar up to the higher realms of the worlds of Bria or Yetzirah, but rather the mitzvah remains trapped over here in this world, and as we discussed, either until it's the person goes and studies that piece of Torah again, or until the person does tshuva, but either way, without kavanah, the mitzvah remains trapped here in this world and is unable to ascend to the higher worlds, and there is no revelation of godliness in there. And today's Tanya, the Alter Rebbe challenges that and says, hold it one second. We're talking here about Torah. Torah is God's wisdom. God is one with his wisdom. There is no concealment in Torah. Why should my kavanah, why should my love or awe, why should that have any impact on the Torah? You know, everything here in this world, we've talked about this in the past, everything in this world conceals God. You look at it and you don't see the divine intention in it. You don't see God's will, God's wisdom in it. There's one thing which does not conceal God, and that is Torah. What you see is what you got. It is a pure expression of God's wisdom and God's will. How can I have an impact on it? So the Alter Rebbe answers in today's Tanya. He says, yes, you are correct. There is no concealment in Torah. There is nothing distorting it. It is simply an expression of God's wisdom and God's will. However, because the Torah comes down over here into this world, and ultimately we are processing through the Torah through a physical act. We're speaking, we're articulating and verbalizing the words, which is a physical act. The physical is not a conductor for spiritual divine revelation. It's too coarse. It's like, trying to get electricity to flow through rubber. It doesn't work. So although there is no concealment in the Torah that we study, but at the same time to say that we have revelation, the revelation of God's will and the holiness within it, that also we do not have. On the other hand, when a person does a mitzvah with kavanah, when you have feelings, emotions, when you have this love for God, when you have this awe for God, feelings, emotions, those are spiritual. Spiritual is a conductor. It's a receptacle. God's holiness can be revealed within those feelings. When I do a mitzvah with those feelings, that elevates my mitzvah. It makes my mitzvah a spiritual act, or the Torah that I'm studying a spiritual act, not just a physical act. Just like when you see someone who's doing something and they're filled with emotions, they're passionate, the action is pulsating with spirituality. You can see it on the person. You see the spiritual, so to say. And therefore, when we have kavanah, what we're doing is we're elevating our act. It becomes a spiritual act. If it's a spiritual act, it's not really an act of this world, because our world is the world of action. Our world is a physical world. This mitzvah is of a higher world. Right now, it's on the level of the world of Bria, or on the level of the world of Yetzirah. And therefore, we can have God's holiness and God's will revealed in it. But because I'm doing the mitzvah over here in this world, that holiness is revealed over here in this world. And that's why kavanah is so important, because that makes a mitzvah the ability to be able to be a conductor for the revelation of the holiness of God, the mitzvah that I'm doing or the Torah that I study. In tomorrow's Tanya, tomorrow's Tanya is going to be a little more Kabbalistical. We're going to talk a little more about the impact of a mitzvah, and also a little more about this revelation of the holiness of God, which is within a mitzvah or within the Torah that I study, if I do it with the proper kavanah.